everybody, it is that time of year. We're all setting the New Year's goals, getting our lives together. You have such big hopes and dreams and aspirations for the new year, and this year, like any other year, is no different. But I thought that I would do its own separate video for my book reset. Have felt like for a little bit now that I definitely need to do a little reset in the reading book area of my life, and it is a little bit different since this is what I do, thankfully, thanks to you guys, for a living. So there's like a lot of cleanup to do at the beginning of the year, work-wise, and just like my mental stuff wise. I am going to take you guys through what my book reset is going to be for the year. Well, buckle on up, everybody. We're going to go through a few things. I'm redoing my Notion, decluttering and unhauling some books, reorganizing, doing all of that good stuff. So let's hop right into it. Oh, sorry. That sounds like that's my book of the month delivery, which is the kind sponsor of today's video. Just as I suspected, my book of the month box straight to my doorstep. Did you guys know that they have the best price for new and release hardcover fiction? You want to know more? Well, come on in. Now, if you guys have been somebody that has followed the channel for a while, you guys would know how much I love Book of the Month. I've worked with them for such a long time. I always feel so safe with Book of the Month because they have a team that goes through and curates through so many books a month and gives this list that you can choose from of new release authors. And I can attest that I have found so many new authors and reads that I don't think I would have ever found if it weren't for Book of the Month. So I trust them with everything book recommendation. Like I said, Book of the Month has the best prices for new release hardcover fiction. So if you guys are interested in January, you guys can get your first book for just $5 with the code NEWYOU. That's literally your first hardcover new release for just $5 with the code NEWYOU. My pickups this month, which I am so excited for. First of all, we have A Sea of Unspoken Things. It's this story of a sister who recently has just lost her twin brother, and she's kind of trying to unravel this mystery around him and what happened. So I'm very excited for this one. And then of course we have the favorite. This one is right up my alley, and I can guarantee you that I will be reading it this month. About two Olympic skaters and this past that they had together, and I am so excited to read it. Like I said, these were my two selections for January. You guys can go through the list of the other selections on Book of the Month's website. I'm gonna have everything linked down below. Don't forget, guys, your first book for just $5 with the code NEWYOU. You can't miss out on this, and thank you so much again to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Let's add these to the ever-growing physical TBR. The first step in my bookish reset is that I am switching some things book format wise around. First and foremost, I am obviously cleaning and organizing the office, and one of the things that I'm wanting to do is like change some things around. And I actually ordered some bookshelves, but I don't think they're gonna be here until the 9th, and it's not even January yet. Those are going in the living room because there's literally just like not space in this office, and honestly the living room's like a little bit bare, so I thought it could look even a little bit decorative. But basically I ordered like below like the window, like low shelves for my physical TBR. I'm not tackling this right now because I'm literally just trying to like get stuff moved for me to then tackle a different thing, but I am going to be going through my physical TBR because a goal that I had, I want to read 70 books off my TBR, and this year I want to basically just kind of stick to my physical TBR. So I'm going to be doing in this video, it's just like not right now, a very like deep and just precise declutter of all of the books on my physical TBR, just to make sure like what books I have are books that I know and see myself that I'm going to read. So I'm gonna do that, but for right now I'm just taking them off the top. Honestly, I just found myself like not really reaching for anything because they're at the top. While it made sense for like the functionality of the space for me to put them up top, just me reaching for them is not. I'm gonna take them down right now and put them over in this corner where there's currently nothing at right now. I am going to be taking all of the books down, and then also I'm going to be putting up all of the books that I read for the past 2 months that are sitting on that TBR cart over there that I literally have not touched because I was debating doing a wrap up just like for the November and December months, but then I just decided those books are going to be included in the yearly wrap-up. So for right now, I'm just going to focus on getting all of these down. I'm not going to do any unhauling or anything today because that's just not my main focus. My office is a literal wreck, so I need to get things together. So I'm going to take these down, move them, and then put all the books that I read this year that I haven't on the bookshelves up. When I'm filming this, it's literally New Year's Eve, and how I'm spending it is on the floor going through my physical TBR while also enjoying some Nerds gummy clusters, specifically the blue pack, while playing Animal Crossing and eating some of my Christmas candy because that's how I'm bringing in the new year. But before I do that, I have been doing my huge Notion reset the entire day. And if you guys want to check out like me doing everything else for my Notion that's not my book stuff, you guys can go check out my 2025 reset. Specifically, one of the big reading goals that I have for this year that I'm going to take you guys through in a little bit was that I want to try to dwindle down my physical TBR this year and knock 70 books off physical TBR. Before I did that, I wanted to do a very honest unhaul. Now, I feel like something about me is that like when I would buy books, I would just be so excited about reading, and we've all been there where I would just get so excited and I would want to buy so many books at one time because I wanted to read all of them, but I just, in my brain, I wanted to have the option for the book to be there, like if I ever wanted to read it. And it may have been a book that I just seen somebody talk about like once. Now, I will talk about it in a little bit, but one of the things that I'm trying to be more, one of my words for this year is intentional, trying to be more intentional within every aspect of my life. And I feel like just the overconsumption of books throughout the years has led to just a physical TBR where honestly, even some of these books I may have bought a few years ago where I may have heard about it like once, and then I just decided to pick it up in case I ever wanted to read it, and it's like you don't need to do that. Obviously, I still love picking up books that are being recommended, like you don't know when you're gonna get to it. I do want to be more intentional, like I said, we'll get into it in a little bit, but on one of my pages within my book part of my Notion, I want to do a physical TBR tracker. So I want to, you know, put down all of the books that are on my physical TBR. So I'm going to go through and do a brutal unhaul first, and then we're going to like clock what is on my physical TBR as of right now. So I'm about to go through all of these and listen to a podcast and just be brutally honest with myself. Can I see myself ever getting to these books? Hello everybody, my back hurts. I want to take you guys through my reading goals for the year, my 2025 TBR, as in like the 25 books I want to read in 2025. I don't know why that's a specific TBR, but I guess it is your 25 TBR. This is my bookshelves page where basically I have like everything bookish related on here, and honestly I may even add to this as the months and stuff goes on, but this is like my initial, you know, beginning of the year, what it looks like. So I named it my digital bookshelves because there's so much data and information on here that I just thought it was literally my digital bookshelves. Over here on the right side, I have a few different little sub pages going on. So this is the one I was just working on, which is physical TBR. So this table is my physical TBR at the start of 2025, and basically I just sat down there and logged all of the books that are here, and then I have just the status where it can be either unread, reading, or read. I'm actually going to add DNF into that one as well, and then I have them calculated at the bottom, as you can see right here. So there are 213 books on my physical TBR at the start of the year. I also have it ready to calculate whenever I read a book. So say I read Loath to Love You, now it says 1 out of 213. So it's going to be calculating all of those. Well, I just like that because I did make it, again, one of my goals to do that this year. And then down here I have my 2025 book purchases. So this is going to be another thing that I try to stick to, because again, I have another reading goal kind of pertaining to this, where I just have the book, the month, and the status of it. So it's kind of similar as like unread, DNF, reading, or read, and that way I can like see how many books and stuff that I bought. I did try to do that last year, but then I didn't stick. But back to the homepage, I also have a little sub page that's going for whenever I have DNFs, because that's inevitable with me. I also have my reading goals, and so we'll click on that. So I had 6 reading goals this year. So first of all, I brought back the find 10 5-star reads. I honestly feel like with me, finding 10 is a really good number. If I could get over that, I would love it, but I feel like 10 is a pretty strong number. But then when you look at how many books I read within a year, like I think I read almost 150 books this year, and having 10 5-star reads of that, I don't know what percentage that is. Is that like 15% or something like that? I'll put it up on the screen if I remember. But I just feel like I'm very picky with my 5-star reads. That's just me personally, like the scale that I hold like my absolute favorite books on. I also have expand genres and diversify reads, like diversify the type of books and voices that you're taking in. This is where we have, so I have below this stick to physical TBR, but the read 70 books off of the physical TBR is a big thing that I'm focusing on this year. I would absolutely love, like in a great, amazing world, to read more than 70 books off of the TBR, but this is the number that just like popped up in my head, that if I just really focused this year on not buying a whole lot of books and being very, again, intentional about the books that I'm buying, and I could knock off 70 books, because I don't know, what is 213 minus 70? 143. That's still a lot of books on my physical TBR, but maybe even at the end of the year, like I feel like if I really dedicated my year in this next reading year to trying to knock off books off the physical TBR, and just kind of took notice of the books that I just absolutely was avoiding, then we could even get rid of some more books, because I feel like this was a reading goal for me last year, but then I didn't really do it, so I can't really, you know, get rid of them, because I feel like I was avoiding all of them this year. Moving on, I have the 3 new book buying limit a month. Last year I tried to do 5, but this year I'm doing 3, and what I mean by putting new in parentheses, it's like if I read a bunch of books on my Kindle and I don't have physical copies of them, I'm not counting like buying books that literally are not going. I'm saying 3 new books that are going to go to the physical TBR per month. I don't really want to exceed that, but I also do want to say minus special occasions. Like at the beginning of the year, sometimes I'll do like a new year, new books thing where I'll go buy new books for the new year, and maybe if it was like my birthday or some type of thing where it was like a special occasion, then I would go and buy those. I'm saying this right now. There's a few special occasions in my mind that I'm allowing myself to buy more than 3 a month, but I really want to limit it as much as possible, but it is not including books that I'm just getting the physical copies of, because those are not going onto the physical TBR, they're just going onto my bookshelves. And then I also have prioritize mood reading. I talked about in one of my Bookmas videos that I feel like last year I hit a lot of slumps because I just found myself curating videos and buying books for videos and reading these books that I probably didn't have a whole lot of interest in. And while that's not a bad thing, and I still will create some videos like that, I was just doing it with every video, and I do think it allowed myself to find some books that I would have never picked up in the first place. I did find reads that I loved this year doing that. However, I think it just made me feel slumpy because they weren't books that I was picking out to read for my enjoyment. And at the end of the day, that's why I love reading, is because it's escapism, and I love reading books that I want to read. And while those videos do help bring in other books for me. I feel like mood reading for a lot of my videos could just really help with even like the overall feelings and vibes, and I even feel like through the camera of what you can feel if somebody's genuinely enjoying the content that they're making. Again, not that I was not enjoying making the content, but if it's like I'm really enjoying the books and there's something that I want to read, I feel like you'll be able to tell the difference. It is New Year's Eve, as I told you, and they're shooting off fireworks, and Charlie hates fireworks. They scare her so bad, so we're about to have to go into the room because I'm at the front of the house. So we're gonna have to go into the room and put the TV on really loud and put a fan on because she gets so terrified of them. And when we moved here in July, oh, she's shaking. Oh no. It's okay, baby. Brief intermission. Hello guys, it is the next day. We survived the fireworks catastrophe of yesterday. They started yesterday at like 6:30 and did not end until 2 o'clock in the morning. That was great, but now I'm here to take you guys back through the notion. It is that weird time of day where we have really weird lighting, but we're just gonna have to deal with that. Back to my digital bookshelves page. So we went through, and I think I showed you guys that I did wait, now I can't remember what I did. Now this is my 25 books to read in 2025 table. So let's go through my 2025 TBR. I think this is going to be my last year of doing the like numeral according to like the year. I feel like 25 is just a good number to end off of. These are the 25 books I have on my TBR for 2025. First of all, we have Spark of the Everflame. I feel like Spark of the Everflame, Guild, and Quicksilver, these are the first 3 on my TBR. These are the fantasy books that I feel like I'm seeing people talk about everywhere that I'm very interested in reading and can definitely see myself reading throughout the year. And here's the thing, I picked a lot of books that I genuinely like feeling like mood reading could see myself picking up, wanting to myself read throughout the year. Also, to kind of talk about this list, I have a table view set up, of course. So I have the book name and then the progress. So we have unread, DNF, in progress, or read. And then I have the author name, but also I put a little picture of the book just to like be fresh in my brain. So we have the little pictures of them right here as well. Next up, we have A Fate Inked in Blood. I actually also want to continue / finish the Bridge Kingdom series. This is the same author of that series. So this is another one that I'm wanting to start. I've seen people just like this be one of their favorite fantasies of the year. So I'm very interested in this. Then we have, of course, I put in a few new releases. I didn't want to make it like all new releases because yes, realistically, I will read a lot of my anticipated new releases, but I do want to throw in just some other ones. So obviously the new releases that I have, we have Great Big Beautiful Life, Atmosphere, Say You'll Remember Me, It's a Love Story, Gifted and Talented, My Friends, This Book Will Bury Me. These are all new releases that I know that I will be picking up this year that I'm very anticipating and that are probably my most favorites and like the ones at the top of my anticipated releases that I want to read, and I know that these will get read. So it's also nice to put in books that I know that are guaranteed so that you know at least you're checking off some of them. Then we have The Poppy War. I read Yellowface and Babel in 2024 by R.F. Kuang, and I really want to read The Poppy War. Then we also have Something in the Walls. Pretty sure this is a horror book. I want to get more into some horror. House in the Cerulean Sea. I've had this one on my TBR for a little bit, and I remember Sarah read this in 2023. And I've been intrigued by it ever since she read it. Next up, we have Blue Sisters. This is just a fiction book that I saw being kind of circulated a lot last year. Same with Margot's Got Money Troubles. I got this in one of my Book of the Month boxes, and I've just been really wanting to read it ever since. We also have Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This is a book that's been sitting on my TBR for a while that I really want to read. Next up, we have Welcome to the Hunam Dong Bookshop. I heard that this book is literally for people who like love books. It's a love letter to readers and bookstores, and basically our main character is just learning how to be like the best bookseller and like how to recommend books to people. Hello, this book sounds absolutely beautiful. Then we also have Mad About You. I really want to pick up another Mari McFarlane book because I read Just Last Night last year and I loved the writing in it. So I really want to test out another one of her books, and Mad About You is the one that the plot of it seemed the most interesting to me right now. We have A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. This one just really, the plot of this stuck out. I think it's like, does her brother go missing and I've heard that this author's writing is very like magical and lyrical, so interested for this one. Then I got this one from one of my mutuals that I follow, The Collected Regrets of Clover, and the cover caught my attention, and also they did like this aesthetics video. It was actually the Common Room shop on Instagram. I love, she owns like a bookish business, but I love her account, and she like showed the aesthetic of it, and I was like, wait, like I really want to read this one, and it just really caught my attention, so I added that to the list. Then we have Us Against You. This is the second book in the Beartown trilogy. You guys know Beartown was one of my favorite reads of the year last year. It's a 5-star read for me, so I'm interested to continue it because the way that this book ended off, it does kind of give you the vibe of that it could just end, but it has continued with the next 2 books, so I'm very interested in that. Then I also have Clockwork Angel, which is the first book for the Infernal Devices, and then I also have Lady Midnight, which is the first book for the other series. The name is escaping me for that series off the top of my head. And then lastly, I have The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. So we have 25 books. Stick around if you care to see if I read those or not. But anyway, to continue on with the tour of our little Notion page here. So obviously I showed you guys the list is right here. We have the book data over on this side, and then I have my 2025 reads page where you'll just click in, and it has the table. If you guys saw last year, it's the same exact table setup where I have book, rating, genre, page count, average rating. I need to add in, that's what I'm missing, I need to add in the month that this book was read. That's how I keep track of all of my data and analytics, so that is sitting right here. And then last year I didn't keep up with this, but I really want to this year. So this is favorite quotes of the year, but I divided it, instead of by month, I divided it by feeling. So we have like love quotes, quotes to do specifically with like romance and love for somebody, sad quotes because I love being sad, it's just inevitable, honestly. Then we have hard-hitting quotes, so quotes that I'm just like, wow, that's just so deep and emotional. And then quotes that are relatable to me personally. I love reading book quotes so much, and I love sharing them. It's a love language within itself for me, so I like having those little sub pages to visit. And then of course the monthly reads, so at the beginning I'll insert the monthly TBR, and then we'll move on to like also putting in the monthly reads analytics in here as well for like the length reviews. Like I'll write down my thoughts on them to have on the Notion. I'm also going to be talking about after this my reading journal, which I'll be keeping at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. And then down here we have the book to buy list. So this, I hope, satiates the feeling a little bit of wanting to buy books, where I just have this table chart of the book I want to buy, the status on it, and then the month bought, so I can also, because I told you guys my reading goal of only buying 3 new books a month, and I might add in 2 right here, whether it's new or whether it was just buying a physical copy as well. So I have that going on. I hope that it satiates that, like if I'm entering in data, it gives me the satisfaction of like entering it in. That would give me the same satisfaction of like going and getting it or ordering it. I'm really hoping that helps me. So that is my little digital bookshelves page for my Notion this year. That is my little Notion, my reading goals, and my 2025 TBR. So now let's move on to talking about my reading journal, what that looks like, and setting it all up. Okay everybody, hello, welcome to the reading journal segment. So I don't know, I'm filming the 2 different reset videos at one time, I cannot remember, but I think it was in my regular reset video, I introduced my reading journal. So this is her, oh, of course, this is her. It is the dotted, which I am a big fan of. So I just customized it with a bunch of like bookish stickers, and I talked about this a little bit in one of my Bookmas videos. It was just a book chat. I feel like in 2024, I wanted to do a reading journal, but I feel like I got lost in the like, every month I would do it for a part of my like monthly reset. I feel like I personally didn't enjoy like that type of like aesthetic reading journal where you like print out the pictures and make these little like monthly spreads, and you have this pressure to make it like so aesthetic, because it felt like I was losing the reasoning for it, and I was doing it more for like videos than for myself, and obviously you don't ever want to feel like that as a person. So I really want to have just a basic, like, actual journal setup. What I'm planning on doing is literally just like titling when it's a new month and then just filling it out, like writing the name, author, rating, maybe if I found different quotes, just my general thoughts, and just like writing it down like it is just a regular journal entry on the page, like making it very, I'm talking about like a very, very plain. If somebody were to like pick this up like years from now, it's just like my thoughts on books. Like that's all I just want it to look like a lost journal. So that's the vibe that I'm going with for this. It's literally just gonna be so simple, not aesthetic at all. So what I'm about to do is the first spread that I'm going to do is just gonna be a little like 2025, the 2025 TBR. I'm just going to fill that out, and then obviously we will start, and I'll just like do a little heading for January. I haven't read any books yet. It's literally January 1st. That's just how we'll fill it out, and then I'll start those pages, also like fill in my reading goal. With that being said, I have not yet posted my reading goal for 2025 on Goodreads, because obviously it's January 1st, so the 2025 Goodreads reading goal is here. I think my 2023 reading goal was 200 books, because I think the year before I was like at 180, 190. So 200 felt like a stretch for me. And then I really missed the mark on that in 2023. So in 2024, I made 125, and then I exceeded that one. So this year I decided to kind of meet in the middle a little bit, and I decided to make my reading goal 150 books. We have 364 days left to hit 150 books. Okay, we have officially set the reading goal for this year, so. Hello guys, I wanted to do a few things to wrap up today's video. First of all, earlier in the video I did a little unhaul. I realized that I never really like showed the books that I was unhauling. I have them all sitting on the floor. I need to do something with it. First and foremost, I have some of my DNFs from last year that I just, obviously I don't need to keep them. So we have One Star Romance. I tried so hard with this one. I feel like, did I accidentally cut this out of a video? It was supposed to be in my, I think I was reading it in my trying to get out of a book slump video, and I hated it. I really disliked both of the characters. In her book that this is about, like the first book that she writes, she literally makes like one of the characters about her best friend's husband, who she doesn't like but her best friend is happy with. It was crazy work, and everybody knew it was about him. Like he knew it was about him because they read it to support her, and then found out that she was essentially like making fun of him through this book. It was awful. Dishonestly Yours by Kristen Becker Ritchie. I don't know what this was. Like I got over halfway into this and I just tried so hard, but like nothing was happening, and the writing style in this book was so odd. Obviously we have The God of the Woods. This book was not for me. It was so boring, and when I told you guys that I had DNF'd it, so many of you guys were like, I either should have DNF'd it or I DNF'd it as well. So I felt very seen, because this is like the best books, one of the best books of 2024, and I was genuinely perplexed. Next up we have This Is How We End Things. This says it's a high-stakes dark academia thriller full of secrets. I bought this when I was going to do my like dark academia video. I'm not huge into the dark academia aesthetic or thrillers, so I'm gonna put that one away. After reading Night Road by Kristen Hanna and really not liking it, I got a little spooked to read some of her like regular early work, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and give away Home Again and Summer Island. But we have Bridesmaid for Hire by Megan Quinn. I tried to read this and I just don't think, I don't know. Then we also have Four Aunties and a Wedding. I loved Dial A for Aunties, but I remember just like not seeing great things about this one, and I've never ever wanted to pick it up. We also have Apples Never Fall. I read this because when the TV show came out I really wanted to, but I feel like this type of fiction is not hugely my vibe. Then we also have The Catch. If you guys, was this last year or the year before? I can't remember. That I tried to read this so many times. Like, I spent so much time just trying to get through this book, and for some reason it was just not working with me. So I bought You've Reached Sam when this book first came out. As you can see, it's like hardcover, and this is like one of those things where I think it would just trigger my anxiety so bad, because it's one of my worst fears, and then reading it would cause like an anxious spiral like nobody even knows. The Grandest Game, I DNF'd this one at literally like 80% through the book. I just did not care about it. These two books I got Haunted Ever After. I just did not see great things about this one, and same with this. So we're getting rid of these because it was hard for me to try to pick those up. I tried to pick that up this summer and this fall, and I was just like, we should be more thoughtful when buying books. I also just have other miscellaneous books that I just feel like I'll never read, like The Good Part, The Humans. I've had this book for a while, Springtide, Realm Breaker, Mistakes We Never Made. I just had to get honest with myself with these books of like, you are never going to read these. I actually just got some bookshelves in today, so we'll do that a little bit later. Okay guys, I'm a little confused because I did order 4 of these, because basically this is what they look like they're very short bookshelves, right? So I ordered 4 of them because there's quite a bit of things on my physical TBR, and they're supposed to all line under these windows right here, and they delivered 1, and I've had it for a few days. They delivered 1. The good thing is you guys are going to see me build 1 of these, and I guess we'll see how much 1 of them hold, because it's like the same type of system as my big bookshelves. Very simple to understand and build, so I don't think that it will take me a long time. Okay guys, final product, here we are, the first shelf. It doesn't look too bad, and honestly it puts like quite a bit of them on here, and like I said, I ordered a few of these, so they're just not here yet, but I feel like this will look good. I might mess around with the location because I don't know why in my brain I thought that it was going to be as tall as our windows. So I kind of need to mess with the location of these because I don't love where they're at, but they will be here for now. And so I mean, I do think also it does, like once there's all of them, because right now it does look a little weird just having like 1, but once there is all of them, it'll really add to the space because the living room is just kind of empty, like all we have is the couch. Maybe it'll add to it, I don't know. That was my last item on the list. Of course, like I said, I don't have the other ones, so I will be having to build those when they come, but this is my new setup for my physical TBR. So that is the end of today's 2025 book reset. We're all set for the year. I've already started my new year videos and reading vlogs, everything like that. So stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled for those. Get excited, and I love you guys. Here's to a great reading year in 2025, and I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.